She is a acupuncturist in our community. She is located a couple of blocks from our library. And this is part 3 of our introduction to Chinese acupuncture. And today, I guess we are supposed to talk about Qi Gong and tapping. So, Sarah, the floor is yours.
Well, welcome back. If you all have been here previously, I did have a little question on last week's talk, and if you're interested, people looking for more information about how to use foods for the seasons, a great resource is a book by Paul Pitchford. I'm just typing that into the chat box here, called Healing with Whole Foods. And maybe, I don't know, maybe the library can help you get to that. But I am still here and open to any questions that come up if you're reviewing notes or have other interests that I can help with here. But today we're going to talk about Qi Gong. Go ahead and start some slides. This is going to be an active, interactive kind of lecture. So if you're willing to participate and try out some of the demonstration as we go, then please do. And I also can try to watch and answer questions as we go with that, with Magda's help here. And so let's go into the slides. There we go. This is Introduction to Qigong, the third of the series for presenting to all of you. I appreciate you joining again. And so first we talk a little bit, what is Qi Gong? So just the literal translation here, Qi is life energy. It's the animating energy that permeates the whole universe, and it brings vitality to all living beings. So that is including our plants, our minerals, the air we breathe. Everything has its own Qi, and we can use that as medicine or as an example for what's happening in nature to understand what's happening in our bodies too. The gong part of this means work. And so we're working with Qi, but you could additionally add to that definition from author Kenneth Cohen, who has a great book about introducing Qigong. He says the benefits acquired through perseverance and practice. So that inquires that we're building on something, not just our skills and ability to practice, but building the Qi and storage and cultivating that Qi to be there in our reserves, and we'll show you more about that as we proceed. So Qigong then is to work with the life force, the practice of cultivating the vital energy and learning how to control the flow and distribution of Qi to improve health and harmony of the mind and body. There's some different types of Qigong. One thing when people just ask me, what is it? I say, well, for example, a lot of people know Tai Chi, and all Tai Chi is Qigong, but not all Qigong is Tai Chi. So that's one example of a type of Qigong. Then we have the sitting meditation forms. This is optimal for then building internal energy using the visualization and breathing techniques to promote self-awareness. Also connection with those energies around us in the universe, our environment, and unity then. It supports the nervous system, and it's a way to help slow down the breathing and the heart rate, promoting relaxation and enhancing the circulation in the body. We have the active type Qigong with the movements, and that's kind of what we'll start to get into a little at the end today. These movements or postures are usually practiced in groups that are called forms, and also may be used individually as a prescription to help correct the imbalances in the energetic systems. The movements are focused then on opening channels, developing strength and stamina, and with a focus on the joints and the tendons and flexibility, and usually some fluid movements, so kind of round circular flow. The walking type Qigong is also meditative, where repetitive movements with a strong focus on how we shift the weight and balance, and with each breath being integrated into that form. Also, we have sound parts of Qigong. Sometimes this will be within a form, or you can integrate these all together. But the sound, making sound, is considered strongly related to the heart. Our tongue is the extension of the heart. So we're bringing that supreme part of the body into the activity we're doing to help focus and guide the Qi. I wanted to jump here to back to the 5 elements that we discussed a little bit last time, because of the sound part of that. Organ systems can be explained here. But the fire element, again, heart and small intestine, we can use these examples here. The symbols of the color red we can use in our mind to visualize that energy, or we could practice facing a certain direction, so south for the heart, to strengthen that system. The sound there is ha, so we make the ha sound, and that's bringing energy towards the heart there. Earth element, spleen and stomach, that's in the center. So every time we're using our muscles and mind, we're in earth element. But we can also further use the yellow color in visualizing that energy. And the sound there is like blowing out a candle. So it's whoo, whoo, whoo. And metal, this one is the white color. The direction is west of the sunset that goes with like the fall season as well, that time of the energy sinking down. And that sound then for the lungs would be s. The water element, we've got the blue and the black color here that we can use, like visualizing the color of the ocean. The direction for water is north, and the sound is hi, hey, but we say it with our mouth closed. So is how you direct that energy towards the kidney. Very useful because we're staying grounded through these forms, which is essential to the safe practice of this Qigong in any type you try. So also we have wood element, that's our spring season with the color green and the direction of the sunrise, the east. The sound there, I always say like you're in a library, it's shh. So that helps to soothe and calm the liver energy. Again, the Yin Yang symbol, we use that as a symbol of how the energy moves through the day, through the seasons of the year. And it is something that is essential to the practice of Qigong. So we have ways help us identify the yin and the yang parts, which are always relative. They're always cannot exist without each other. So they're part of a cycle where the yang is rising to then engender that yin, give rise to the other. Example here is that the yang part of this cycle is rising up and inhaling, where the yin part would be more sinking down with the exhale. In our practice also, the forms that lineages I've been trained in, we always accentuate this transition between the inhale and the exhale, pausing, even holding the breath for a moment. And the stillness is like yang within yin. So everything's happening inside, even though we're not doing anything at that time. We're just observing that transition that allows the integration and acknowledging that we're changing from one to the other. Real quick, as an example of yin and yang, this is a seated exercise. So check around you, make sure you're not going to bump into anything if you'd like to try with us. The opening, closing, and pivoting seated exercise focuses on the yang back side, yin down the front side. And so we're going to use some channel theory with that, which I'll get into in a moment. But first, we just try raising up the arms and using the little fingers here. So we're really rotating the little fingers back as we stretch the back. And then on the closing, bringing it from the index finger, rotating down to close down the front. Don't forget the other plane of movement, which is the sides of the body. So pivoting would be then raising up one hand to stretch the side, palm is up on the top hand and down on the low hand, and then switching over to the other side to stretch that side. This is a great way to just take a break while you're at the desk. A couple of times you can hold in those postures for a few breaths and really feel the stretch there. So again, pivoting. We could even add the twist to really accentuate those sides. And the sides of the body are also related to the liver, and a lot of times stress kind of affects more of the sides of the neck, the shoulders, and down the sides. So we want to make sure we attend to that through the day. To get in a little bit about the channels that we're working with, you can use this anatomy too to help direct, what needs attention if you have pain in a certain area, or with the exercises, which of the meridians are then getting more focus. If we wanted to prescribe something to repeat for, say, the lung channel is from here in the top of the chest and on the inside of the arm to the thumb. So, and a good exercise there is maybe flexing that thumb to point back and see how that feels on that channel. We've got the 6 yin, 6 yang channels, and also 6 hand and 6 foot channels. So then we can divide those up. The 3 hand yin from the chest to the fingers are lung and pericardium and heart. Yang on the hand, we have those begin at the fingers and at the head. So we've got large intestine, triple warmer, which is not a typical organ in Western medicine, but can be viewed as all of the networks of the body, different areas of integration between the diaphragms and the small intestine. Also the 3 foot yin, spleen, liver, kidney, those all begin at the toes and head up to the chest. And the 3 foot yang beginning at the head, the stomach channel just below the eyes, for example, gallbladder over here also at the eyes and down to the feet. The bladder channel, I will note, is especially important, is from the inside of the eyes, it wraps around the head and all the way down the big muscles of the spine to the little toe. That's the longest channel with 67 points on it in the body. So it's especially important as we practice because it's such big muscle groups that it covers. Here's something from one of my teachers, which I'm going to talk about a little bit on the next slide, but an example of how we see these 12 organ systems then interacting with the yin and yang and the times of day. And just because it's a little small here, I'm going to move on. You can see, though, that there's several layers of relationship and including the times of day, the months, the the lunar cycle as well, and the Chinese astrology, the animal symbols there. We go on to see also they're divided into 3 sections, and I just want to point that out really quick. We've got earth, heaven, and human. This map here shows us that the humanity is in between heaven and earth, and that is part of a Qi Gong practice, knowing that we're staying connected both to the earthly influence and the cosmology, the influence of the stars and the heavens. So all of these 12 systems then have specific times of day. We can use that information to help guide us in our practice as well. So any of these 2-hour periods then could be when there's more energy focused in those systems, and we can use our exercises at that time, or at the time 12 hours opposite, to help balance that energy. And then the key times would be where I've noted here: equinox or solstice. The time right at sunrise or the time at high noon would be excellent times for practicing Qigong. That represents those transitional times that we talk about, the peak of the yang qi, or the rising of that energy. I wanted to show you a few points before we get into the exercises. So these are really important points, and just using your concentration, you can think about these, or if you want to, you can actually, touch the points with your hands to help bring your attention, your energy there. They say the chi, we've got an order of how to move the chi, and so our mind and our breath are helping to guide that energy to those areas. So the chi follows the breath and the breath follows the mind. We've got kidney 1 on the bottoms of the feet. This is our really grounding point. And if you imagine that hollow place underneath the ball of the foot, right there for kidney 1, the point at the very top of the head here called the governing vessel 20, the 100 meetings point, is where we're connecting above. So we're keeping that straight line in between. And then the hands, important because that's part of our movement and our focus. And in the center of the palm, if you close the fist loosely and where the ring finger touches, that's that point, the pericardium 8 point on the center of the palm. I'll show you again at the end too. It's so important that for doing self-healing work after Qigong, you've got this energy really focused, and your hands, maybe even feel warm or look different, and you can then use the hands to help send that healing energy to different parts of the body where you might have pain, and etc. So let's get into a few exercises. We've got about 10 minutes here. If you want to, you can stand or you can stay seated for these, and just imagine the key parts as the back being straight and the feet on the ground. So I'm going to stand, and hopefully you can hear me okay while I back up over here. But let's see. First, I'll just read through it and demonstrate, but we can practice if we have time together after we walk through these. So the standing exercise, just check around you that you're not going to bump into anything, and you can move unobstructed. Your feet on the floor are shoulder width and the knees slightly bent, so you're not locking the joints here and you're allowing that flow. We want to shift the weight slightly. Even if you're sitting, imagine that weight is firmly on the ground and shifting slightly to the outside edges of the feet. Gripping the toes, that's what I was describing with the kidney 1 point. It helps to open that area in the hollow space of the foot. So gripping the toes as if you're grasping the grass under your feet. Straightening the spine, we're gonna try to take the curve out of the lower spine by just slightly tucking the abdomen. Bring the chin slightly down to take the curve out of the neck, slightly straightening and lengthening through the head as if that point on the top of the head connected to the sky by a thread, and stretching as if you can be taller and taller and reaching the head all the way up. Relaxing the shoulders, you can roll the shoulders a little bit just to make sure they're not holding that tension, and a slight roundness into the elbows, creating that space under the arms. So here is a basic standing. This is called Wuji posture. We can accentuate this too by sinking down into the knees a little bit and add a little bit of extra strength training there. We do not want the knees to ever cross past the toes. That'll throw off our center and our balance. So just don't injure yourself. Try and find your comfortable position. So with that, you're standing and all of the joints then are stretching, opening to allow that flow. Now, in that form, I'll demonstrate sitting here, but still feet on the floor, back is straight, head is tall. And on our inhale, I'm going to think about that point at the top of the head that's reaching up into the sky. And imagine that you can open there to that energy, letting the light and the warmth of the sun down and penetrating into the head, permeating the whole head. We say washing out any dark gray, tired, fatigue, depression, worry, letting everything kind of go and be filled with light. Then letting that light head down the spine, straight here. And imagine breathing all the way down to the lower abdomen. This is just below the navel, and it's referred to as the dantian. This is where we're breathing. And it's this area that we consider a storage of the energy that we're working with here. All movement is coming from this center. As we're breathing, then on the exhale, sending all that energy down to the bottoms of the feet, or even imagining then that you're connecting deep into the earth, 4 feet below the ground, all the way down out of your building that you're in. Just letting those deep roots, the energetic system from those open points on kidney 1, exhaling down to the feet, firming up that connection to the earth to help us again staying grounded. So if you're practicing Qigong for the first time, it's great to have a teacher. There are books and videos available that can be helpful, but having someone to correct you if they see a posture issue, or to help remind you that you're staying grounded, to prevent any like headache or dizziness. A lot of us are focused up here during our regular activities, so this force is really beneficial to then keep the feet in our focus. I want to do a form here. I'm just going to read through and you can try it on your own. And then I'd like to stop the screen, go back to the video for a minute and show you how we can move through this for a couple of moments. So continue to checking your posture, keeping the joints relaxed. If anything's kind of feeling tight, you can just adjust, check in, keeping the spine straight, placing the hands over that lower abdomen to focus your breath there. Slowly separating the hands then down to the sides of the body on that exhale. And on the inhale, bringing those hands up in front, about diaphragm level, with the palms are facing each other. And imagine that those palms of your hands, the point that we showed you, Lao Gong, is connected as if you're holding a ball in your hands, rotating that ball, not letting that energy be dropped there. We can rotate, keeping the hands connected. You'll feel that connection in the hands, and even also adding a little challenge by thinking about if you're moving underwater or like the air is very thick, there's a little resistance as we're moving there. That's kind of tuning our awareness to the Qi. Then we can even expand and contract that ball. So as if there's a rubber band, we've got a little bit of tension there. And we come back together. Expanding on the inhale and contracting there on the exhale. Not touching the hands. We want a nice big Qi ball here. So I think we've got a minute that I can try to get to my screen and just do this practice together for a minute. So let's go back here, and I'm going to stand up again. We're going to check our posture. Feet are on the ground, toes are gripping, abdomen's tucked, chin is down, spine is straight, the head is tall, shoulders and arms are relaxed. Inhaling up in front and adding a rotation at the hips here, keeping the head forward. That as we inhale, we're coming back to the center. As we exhale, we're switching sides. And whatever side you're turning to, that's the hand on top. So inhaling to the right, exhaling, and then inhaling back to the center. Exhaling again to the other side. Really playing with that idea of that connection and expansion in the hands, the Qi, and then that connection. Just like to spend a few more seconds there, breathing nice and slow. And then you can continue those movements. If you're enjoying that, I hope. It's very calming. And I'm going to show you again how to continue that energetic work. I honestly don't think we're going to have time to get through all of this part.
Go ahead. I think people who need to leave, they will just leave. Because once you go through it.
Yeah, I'd like to have time for the closing too.
Of course. Just take your time.
I just
No
want to
worries.
show you from the Qi ball. We're here. We're going to then come back to the center and hold the palms up in front. Look at both of those points in the center of the palm and just observe after doing the Qi ball exercise. Do you notice a warmth or a different color? It's okay if you don't, but if you keep practicing, I think that you'll start to notice that change, that energy movement there. Now, slowly turn that left palm down and inhale, gazing at the hand, raising up the right hand towards the diaphragm level towards the chest. Exhale, turning the palms over, and again, other side, inhaling up. Exhaling, turning the palms. It's as if we're passing the chi from one hand to the other. We can even get on our toes as we inhale up and sink down in our knees as we exhale. Again, inhaling, gazing into the palm, rotating as we exhale to center and inhaling up again. This again is going to focus more energy into the palms. So if you weren't feeling the heat from the chi ball, trying this for just a few more moments, using your eyes to help and focus chi into the palm of the hand. If you're still with us, I'd like to do the closing part together. This is considered very critical. If we're cultivating our energy, then we want to set our intention by closing and bringing energy back into that center for storage. So from here, we're going to exhale down the sides, the arms to the sides again. Bringing the feet back together so the heels are touching. Inhale, reach out to the sides. Step back a little bit to show you. Out to the sides. Turn the palms up. Inhaling all the way up above the head. Here we turn the palms down with the fingers pointing towards each other. Exhaling down the center line. Inhale, reaching around the sides of the body. Pausing for a moment with the hands over the kidneys. Take a couple breaths and let the warmth from your hands penetrate deep into that low back. Exhale, bring the hands back around the front. Right hand sets on the lower abdomen with the left above it. Just stand for a couple more seconds. Here, we're just focusing on that area of the low abdomen where we're breathing into, and we're giving the body a moment to settle down from the movements. Let our energy collect. Let the chi gather underneath the palms of the hand. The heart rate slows back down. If we were doing more active movement, this would be an important part too, just to feel that calmness and centeredness. Let that chi then settle. You might get a warm sensation there in the low abdomen, or just a pleasant, relaxed feeling as everything's settling back into storage. Then we set our intentions that we can stay in this calm place through the rest of the day, through the rest of the work week, to really keep everything open and moving. And like my teacher said, really 20 minutes of practicing Qi Gong meditation is as good as an hour of sleep. So if you're a little bit worn down here at the end of the week, this practice can be a revitalizing one and help you get through this end of the week time. Again, thank you very much. I've enjoyed sharing with all of you, and I hope you will reach out if you have questions. I'm located here in Strawberry Hill. You can call or text or send me an email through my website, sunriseacupuncturestudio.com. And I hope you've enjoyed anything that we've had a chance to cover today. So thank you very much for hanging in there a few minutes late.
Thank you. Before you guys leave, I just wanted to say for those of you who were late, this session is being recorded, And also for those of you who, like me, were embarrassed to exercise in front of coworkers and in front of cameras, so you can go back and listen to it. So thank you very much,